It's Rock Mornings here in Maui. Currently 75 degrees. Huge swells today on the North Shore. So everyone out there today, be careful. Big shout out to Sarah Hauser. Be safe. And let's get this hour started with some Fit for Rivals.
What are your dreams? What do you aspire to be? My name is Sarah Hauser. 4 years ago, I chose to follow my dreams to become a professional water sport athlete. It meant giving up on everything I worked for, starting from scratch with no guarantee that I would succeed. It meant facing my fears and learning how to live with them. Until the age of 23, I worked very hard to get a degree in computer science and applied mathematics. I spent years reaching for the top of a mountain because I was told to do so. The mountain of a nice life, with comfort, safety, stability. But one day, I realized I was climbing the wrong one. My passion for surfing had to be more than a hobby. Even though I was afraid of change, I moved to the North Shore of Maui in 2013. Every day is a challenge, physically, emotionally, financially. But when I wake up in the morning, when I walk down to the beach and look at the ocean, I know in my heart that I've made the right decision. This is me when I was 6 years old. I grew up in New Caledonia. It's a French island no bigger than the state of New Jersey, located between Fiji and Australia in the South Pacific. My parents were hard workers as well as ocean lovers. At 15 years old, I was already dreaming about being a professional windsurfer, but my family was apprehensive. So they encouraged me to study to become an engineer. For 5 years, I gave college 110% and left there with a degree. That's something I'm very proud of. But my passion for surfing was still haunting me. So I took the money I earned from my internship right out of college and booked a ticket to Maui. I landed on Maui and my emotions were just a roller coaster. Sometimes I would get so excited. I was finally on Maui. The dream, the mecca of windsurfing, the place I've seen in magazines hundreds of times. And then my emotions would just crash on me and I had all these questions. My friends in New Caledonia, my family, and just knew that I worked so hard to get a degree and I could have a safe job and I could be happy. I could not have to worry about anything. So why did I decide to throw all that away just to put myself into troubles? I didn't know anybody. I had no friends. I was not sharing what was going on in my head with anybody in Maui. And I had all these questions like, what am I doing? And I wasn't sure if I was actually chasing a dream or trying to escape some life that I just wasn't happy with. And yes, I had a little bit of money that I made through my internships, but I was not gonna last long. I bought my car for like $1,200. I found this cool little truck, paid for my rent, and just kept having all these questions. Oh my God, in 6 months from now, I'm gonna be at zero. I'm gonna have to go home and pick up a job, and people are gonna be like, hey, you have some nice vacations, and not understand that this is not a vacation. This is me changing my life, and I kept having this voice all the time, questioning me, doubting. But I stuck to my goals. I made it a point to sail at Ho'okipa no matter what the conditions were, to search for sponsors, and to find ways to make it to as many competitions as I could. Within the first year, some amazing things happened to me. First of all, I met my husband, Casey Hauser, who loves the ocean just like me. I also managed to get gear sponsorships and to be part of some amazing teams of athletes. The equipment is such a key part of performance in windsurfing. That's why before we go further, I want you to understand how it works. This is the windsurfing board that I use. So I'm lucky because I can have like the length between the foot strap, which are the part where you're gonna put your feet once you're riding. That is really adapted to how tall I am, as well as my fins that are now making me go much faster on the wave.
Sarah is riding a thruster board, which means that her board has 3 fins, 1 center fins, and 2 small side fins. We're working on developing with her a center fins to give her more speed. She's already testing our prototypes with a little narrower cord than this one, so to give her way more speed.
So to windsurf, you need a board, but also a sail. This part, it's called an extension, and that's what's going to attach the sail to the board. The role of the extension is also to put some tension in the sail. This is called a boom. So this is the part that we hold when we windsurf. Otherwise, there would be no way to put your hands on the sail. Right here. So just before we attach the sail to the board, we have to add that little piece called a base. That's gonna come connect with the extension, just like this. And the last little thing you need is the harness that we could then attach to the harness line right there on the boom.
Thinking about Sarah, like, she's like one of those rad girls that, you know, likes to go with the boys, likes to go out there when it's big.
Levi Stiver is a Red Bull athlete, and when I was in school, I used to always watch his videos on YouTube to dream about windsurfing. He's always inspired me.
I know that she was out, you know, in 2012 on a really maxed out day at Ho'okipa. There's only a handful of guys out, and the fact that she, you know, showed that passion and that drive to be out there with the best in the world, and you know, I know some doors opened up for her and sponsorship-wise, and people started seeing, hey, you know, maybe there's something different about this girl.
I think I kind of, you know, spotted her pretty early. I saw a picture of Sarah riding a simmer sail before I met her, and I'd been really hungry to find a new, you know, some new blood on the female side of things. I didn't immediately just go up and introduce myself. It actually happened at the Aloha Classic. You know, she gave me, you know, like this handshake introduction. I kind of like let her know that you're sailing really well, and are you sponsored? And there was some talent there, obviously, she's very new to the lineup. And as the story goes, she's, you know, from New Caledonia, which is the opposite of Ho'okipa. So what was really impressive to me about her was the immediate adaptability that she showed in a lineup that was pretty much the exact opposite to her. And Sarah kind of represents to me this generation of multi-sport women athletes. What sets her apart is that she's from that newest generation of women who can pretty much, you know, get on a stand-up board, surf, windsurf, you know, a host of other sports. Would I consider her a windsurfer first? I mean, probably, yes. I would say that much. And that was also an important consideration for bringing her on the Simmer team.
Sarah, to me, is probably one of the most unique female windsurfers I've ever seen, because I see a foundational element in her riding that I have never seen in women's windsurfing, and that's like pure drive off the bottom turn. She attacks that bottom turn, which is the real foundation of wave sailing. And if you can get that right, the door starts to open up in all the aspects of wave sailing. And she's figured out, you know, the full rail bottom turn, introduced it into women's windsurfing, and quite frankly, it's better than most guys' bottom turns.
I see a lot of sailors and pros, women or whoever else, overemphasizing competition, and that they are only training and gearing towards sailing an 8-minute heat and not looking at the other side of the picture. I mean, it's an art form here. You know, Sarah just got a new set of fins last week, and it's totally changed her sailing. And I mean, that's, you know, something you want to look at. A fin made a difference? Yeah.
We saw Sarah at the beach, and obviously we were interested, you know, for the good person that we think she is. We like to watch our riders, in this case Sarah, and to see how they sail and to see how we can improve their sailing. And her bottom turn, it's like, you know, she looked like almost like a very powerful man bottom turning, you know, and it makes a huge difference, you know, in a wave riding for a girl like her. So we'll start developing fins, especially for her, to improve her sailing and to bring it to a different level. We're looking for positive people, that they love the sport and they are connected with the environment and the people at the beach. If we have this, and it's a good sailor like she is, we're on.
There are 7 stops on the American Windsurfing Tour. In 2015, I managed to compete in 4 of them. The Aloha Classic is the last event of the American Windsurfing Tour, and it happens every year in October on Maui. 2 years ago, I moved to Maui. It was 2013, and that's when I first showed up there. I got my first sponsorships. 2 years ago,
I got 5th on the American Windsurfing Tour. Last year, I got 3rd on the tour, and this year, I won the American Windsurfing Tour title, the 2015 tour. I still can't believe it. In only 3 years that I got to live this dream and live with this community also. Even when I got 3rd last year, it was awesome. I was already feeling like I was living my dream. It's not all about winning. It's about following your heart and doing what you love. It's great to have this group of girls to compete with, and I love the fact that we can be friends on the beach, but once on the water, when the green flag goes up and the competition starts, it's all about competing. At the end of the competition and at the end of the tour, we have our award ceremony. Getting in the limo with the girl was so much fun because we don't usually get that pretty. We're always in rough elements, in the salt, in the sand. To put a nice dress on and some heels and some makeup is super fun, and it's a night that we'll never forget. When they called my name and I walked toward the stage, I felt all the energy from the room. I also thought about all the challenges I went through and all the doubts and the questions, and when I was not always trusting myself to be able to do this. I also realized as I was winning that it was not the most important thing. Again, what's truly important to me is the fact that I do what I'm passionate about. And being around all these people that night reinforced that conviction for me. And all of you guys, and a great family, and so many good people that are all inspiring me every day, and I'm just so happy to have made these shows 3 years ago. So thank you all. The next part of my journey is the media tour, and the first stop is Phoenix, Arizona.
All right, guys, I told you it's coming up in the studio tonight within the hour. 2015 American Windsurfing Tour Champion, Sarah Hauser, on deck in the studio. Stay close. It's coming up.
Where are you from, first of all? We need to get to that, what your accent is. You're not Arizonan.
I'm from New Caledonia. A lot of people know surfing,
Right.
but very few people know windsurfing.
Right. People like me would try to sail in big waves, getting very, very close to that big wave, and rather than going away from it, try to dance with it.
It's Big Red Radio, 98K UPD. In the studio with me, Sarah Hauser, lady windsurfer. How are you today?
I'm good, thanks, Steve.
So we're sitting here with Sarah Hauser. So it's great to have you in here and to see what does a professional windsurfer look like.
So what do you think?
So now I think, well, look, it's a regular girl. It's
I
just
would agree. I was expecting muscles
Yeah.
to walk in.
Yeah.
And
She still
instead
has
we get
muscles.
a petite little beauty.
She does have muscles.
She's got muscles,
She does.
lean muscles.
Lean muscle?
Yeah.
Okay.
When I think of windsurfing, I think of like 70s bro just leaning back, doing it up. How many women actually are competing in the world of windsurfing?
It's for sure a male-dominated sport, but we're a community of women, especially on Maui, where I live most of the year.
Today, the big news story was the Women's Soccer League have filed a suit against MSL because they don't get paid as much as the men. And they put the discrepancy up, and it's huge.
What do you think of that, Sarah?
I think it's in every sport, and not only sport. It's also in many jobs.
It's in life, huh?
In life, yeah. So, and it's in in windsurfing specifically, what I've observed is that the market is mostly made of men. It's men who buy the equipment. So it doesn't make sense for a brand to push their marketing through women if their market is only guys. But women are very marketable for other things. So what would be awesome is to get the attention from brands out of the industry like cosmetics or clothing that see the interest in windsurfing because it's a beautiful sport.
I feel like somehow in America, we've got bandwidth enough for like one female athlete, and that female athlete is Ronda Rousey. Like Holly Holm will beat her. People are like, huh, what? Who's that chick who beat up Rousey? Do you feel like people will be able to pay attention to more women in sports? Because it seems like there's only about this much interest in it.
And that's why we are there. I am here. I'm trying to showcase that it is fun for girls too. And it's not really, the point is not really to say we can do as well as guys or better, but we just do our own thing with our own bodies differently, with more maybe grace or flow. And it's interesting to pay attention to that too.
I want to know about this place in Maui called Jaws. What's Jaws?
So Jaws is the name of a wave that only breaks a couple times during the year in Maui. They used to call it Dome before, and people thought that nobody could surf it because the old local people, they would see that wave and it was just so big. A couple people tried, but at that time they didn't have the material and the technique, so they just got destroyed.
How tall is the wave?
The biggest we have seen this winter, I've seen a guy on a 60-foot wave.
60 foot.
Yeah.
That's a 6-story building.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. So the first time that you're paddling out into Jaws, what's going through your head?
I was actually super humble going out there. I wasn't even sure I had the right to be out there, that I had the skills. So I told myself you can at least try to observe the wave and just learn, and then just go baby steps and push it little by little. But once I got out there and I saw the waves, I also got really excited and wanted to try. So
when you say you were humble, that's the French word for scared, right?
I guess. I was scared, yeah. No,
You were
for
scared.
Sure. Yeah.
But then once you got a taste of it,
the hardest part is everything until the first wave, I think. Once you get your first wave, the first adrenaline rush, and if you come out of it okay, you're like, oh, wow, I can do this, and this feels fucking cool. I want to do it again, and I want to do it a little deeper, a little harder, a little more late and more dangerous to see.
So when you say fucking, that's for French for awesome.
Oh, yeah.
do you see yourself as a leader in letting people know about this sport?
Leader is a big word. I've started having an athlete career only 3.5 years ago. Because of that, I always see myself as somebody that has to prove themselves, proves that I'm part of this world, of this athlete world.
What about sponsorships? Aren't you looking for things like that?
For sure, yeah. No, for sure. To make your career sustainable, you need sponsorship because windsurfing is not a very mediatized sport. You don't see it on TV or in magazines.
Right.
Or only specific magazines.
How do you support yourself now?
I have a little bit of support from my sponsor, but most of my sponsors from the windsurfing industry cannot fly me all over the world. So I work on the side. On top of that, I have to be my own agent, my own press.
Sarah Hauser, 2015 American Windsurfing Champion and Female Windsurfer of the Year. Thank you for coming on the show. Thank you for giving us some really cool information about the sport. Absolutely.
Hey, who are you? I'm good. Bit tired, but that was super fun. I'm gonna go work tomorrow morning. Yes, on the south side. So, could you just check if my truck is still starting? Yes, because I don't want to wake up and not be able to drive down there. Yeah, I'm taking off tonight and land at 11:30. Can you pick me up? Awesome. Thanks. Me too. So I just got off the phone with my husband, Casey, and I let him know I'm going to land tonight on Maui. The media tour has been awesome. We had a small budget, but so far we were able to get me to Phoenix and San Diego. I was on TV and radio. It's been incredible. And thanks to the help of friends, I was able to crash on people's couch or airbed and spend time with Echo. But now I gotta get back to Maui and start right away with work tomorrow morning on the south side of Maui. I signed with an agent 3 months ago, and I keep sending emails and trying to call him. I was looking forward to be able to have some help, have somebody also I can throw ideas at. For the last 3 months, I've basically been waiting for them to answer me. Did I really spend 3 months thinking somebody was doing those things for me and actually nobody was? I'm gonna have to do it myself again. It's just another thing to add on the plate. So less time on the water. I still don't know if I will have the budget to go to Europe for my first time competing on the World Tour this year. That was my goal. At some point, if I still don't make any money, I'm gonna need to find a better job. I cannot just give SUP yoga classes twice a week all my life. It doesn't pay me enough. And I know that's a very, very difficult path. I mean, artistic and athletic careers, nothing is guaranteed. So you gotta ask yourself, is it so important to me to do this that I can accept that I will never know for sure if I'm gonna make it? Can I live with that feeling that I'm doing all these efforts and I'm working that hard, and at the end of the day, I might just end up being like, still not working, I gotta do something else. I prefer to try. I would just not be happy if I wasn't trying. I just got back from New Caledonia, and I was actually invited there for a shoot for that TV show Facing Waves. I was the one showing them around the place because, of course, it's my islands. Days were crazy during the shooting in New Caledonia. We were starting at 4:30 a.m., 5 a.m. to get the sunrise. Day 6 of the shooting of Facing Waves.
Looking good today.
Looking
perfect for shooting.
And there was one day where we decided to go shoot 1 hour out of the main town. So we left early in the morning, drove for an hour, loaded the boats and headed to the reef. So it's a good hour driving the boat to the ocean. And once out there, we've shot stand-up paddling and windsurfing, and we're in the sun all day. The show is translated in 4 languages, shown in 44 countries in the world. It's supposed to reach out to 30 million households, so it's huge for me. But I wasn't paid for that, I was just invited. And those little things that sound silly, but trust me, when you're jet lagged and you don't have the time to have a break and you're just going nonstop, it looks a lot like work. And people ask me to come do those things, they see a value in it, but I don't have the leverage yet, or I don't know what I don't do right, but I don't make a lot of money out of that. I don't make any money. For any job, I feel like there is a time when you're an intern, or you gotta invest your time and take the experience, and you cannot expect to just show up in something and have big checks and everything goes well. You gotta put the efforts and the time and learn and become that person that the company is gonna be ready to pay you for that. I guess I gotta use those opportunities to build that exposure and to build those numbers, this audience, and then hopefully that will help me, afford to keep my career going. We managed to catch the attention from GoPro, and we're having a meeting with them at the end of the month. I could see a good relationship starting there, but Yeah, let's keep our fingers crossed. It's hard to believe, but an athlete doesn't go to the gym every day all year round. There is a time to perform and a time to do photo shoot and a time to work on your own strengths. So right now is my time for me to prepare my year, my season. Every little bit of money that I make, I invested into my training. My goal is to become a better competitor and to condition my body for big waves. That involves improving my balance, my strength, my agility, my endurance, and my breath holding. I get to train with some of the best trainers and athletes on Maui. That's why for the next 2 months, I'm at the gym 6 days a week.
I'm not your ordinary girl. When I first came into this world, I was born without a heart, in the cold, in the dark. Don't think there's a right solution. People like me are the pollution. Mix the dirty with the clean. Lost my way in the between. Maybe I'm a little too obsessive. I know you think I'm a manic depressive. No, there's nothing I don't regret. So listen up close so you don't forget. I think Novocaine runs through my veins. I don't know how to love or how to feel when the sun turns black and we all decay. I will feel nothing. Wouldn't change anything. Oh, wow. Change anything. Oh, wow. Wouldn't change anything. Wouldn't change anything.
This is the numbers that we wrote today to compare our performances to what we did 7 weeks ago.
I think Novocaine runs through my veins. I don't know how to love or how to feel when the sun turns black and we all decay. I will feel nothing. Wouldn't change anything.
The ocean, it's my arena. This is where I train as much as the elements will allow me to. Every opportunity I have to be out there, I take it. You fall down, you get up, and you do not take yourself too seriously. The ocean teaches me to be strong, to have faith in myself, and to trust my instinct. It teaches me confidence.
With asphyxiation. You're not all that I got. I hope with these last words I scream from my mouth that come on, baby. Baby, come and get with me. I'll show you the time of your life. Baby, don't say no to me. I'll show you the time. Baby, come and get with me. I'll show you the time of your life. Baby, don't say no to me. I'll show you the time of your life. Baby, come and get with me. I'll show you the time of your life. Baby, don't say no to me. I'll show you the time of your life. Baby, come and get with me. I'll show you the time of your life. Baby, come and get with me. I'll show you the time of your life.
So this is the house where I've been living with my husband in for the last 2 years. It's a cute house. And we live there with a couple other roommates. Helps afford the rent, which is really expensive here on Maui. But it's not too bad. Almost cut myself. It's not too bad, yeah, to live so close to the shore. You just have to make it work. It's a couple roomies, and so of course that means a lot more people in this place. You have one bathroom, so kind of gotta wait for your turn sometimes. And I kind of want to show you this. This. It's like every day I can dream of where I want to travel to. This is where I'm from, New Caledonia, just east of Australia. And this is where I live now, Hawaii. It's closer if you put the word like this, but or like that. It's cool when the house is empty because it's not always the case. We are sometimes 5 people living in here. So I like when I get those moments where I can just have my own time and get stuff done, work, just think or play guitar. Yeah, I really like this ad because it's rare that women windsurfing get to be shown doing some extreme stuff.
It's cool. It's my first ad for Windsurfing brand, and I'm stoked because it's not just cruising or pretty or calm, but it's also showcasing some skills, and it's pretty rare in windsurfing actually that it's done for women. And so I'm really happy to be part of this. There should be more like that. I know more girls could do that too.
I was so stoked to see a windsurfing brand finally having the balls to use a female to inspire strength and power. When I was on the media tour, I was asked what my overall goal is, and to me it's to raise awareness around our sport, to get people to know what it is, to get excited about it. A big part of my day is spent at the computer. To get away from the distractions of the house, I like to go to my favorite coffee shop. I get editors of windsurfing magazine who contact me to write 300 or 400 words articles. Yeah, I write my own articles quite often. When I'm training on the water, I capture a lot of footage with my GoPro. At the end of the day, I usually cut a 1-minute video that I sent out to my sponsors and put on social media with all the hashtags to make sure it's gonna be seen by as many people as possible. It's pretty much like if I was my own agent, my own publicist, and my own advertising manager, creating my own brand. And sometimes I have no idea what I'm supposed to do. But I'm really lucky that here on Maui, I'm friends with people who are trying to do the same thing, trying to create a brand to represent their passion. Tatiana Howard is one of my first friends that I met when I came to Maui. And she's always inspired me because she's a very positive, caring, generous person. She had an idea, and that idea became the butterfly effect.
The Butterfly Effect is a non-competitive event that brings women together in a fun atmosphere. The riders range from beginner to advanced, and all these riders get to go out in the water and have so much fun with professional athletes, being coached by them and being inspired to continue their riding, not just at the event, but for life. I called it the Butterfly Effect because I remember driving by Ho'okipa Beach Park when I was younger and seeing the windsurf sails. They're kind of shaped like half a butterfly wing, and they're super bright. I always thought they looked like butterflies on the water. We started in 2007 with 10 women going from Ho'okipa, windsurf, kitesurf, stand-up paddling down 5 miles on Maui's coastline. The next year it grew and it became international, and now we've gone to 18 countries and had 55 events with 5,000 plus participants and raised thousands of funds for different charities around the world. It's definitely grown from one small little idea on Maui into this worldwide phenomenon. So I can't believe it sometimes. It's awesome. Butterfly Effect really highlights all the women that are doing sports, and it's not just guys out there ripping waves and being out in the water and having fun. There's a lot of girls, and it's growing, and I just hope to be a part of that movement. Having Sarah help me introduce stand-up paddle and windsurf to others, if they learn to stand-up paddle, maybe they'll conquer that sport and want to do windsurfing, and they'll see Sarah out in the big waves, and it'll keep the sport and the brands and the community growing. Keep getting the support I need. You know, sometimes I worry about finding the right sponsors and how am I going to fund it and everything like that, but you know, for some crazy reason, like magic happens, and having that aloha and that confidence in your heart in whatever you do with passion, everything will be okay. And I don't know, it's pretty awesome.
It's truly amazing to watch people getting more confident through their experiences on the water. The ocean can give so much joy, but it can also kick your ass. I train every day to be a windsurfer, and I'm out in elements that I cannot control. Sometimes the waves are perfect, but the wind is not. And if I want to go out there on a day like this, I'm aware that I'm taking a risk, that things might not go my way. I've seen some of the best athletes out there getting crushed by Mother Nature. The rocks at Ho'okipa do not discriminate. Sooner or later, you're gonna end up on them. Fortunately, in my community, it's safety first, and we look after each other. On the left of the Ho'okipa rocks, breaks a wave called lanes. We can only windsurf there a couple days out of the year because that's when the wind blows from the opposite direction.
It was typically a surfing day, really uncrowded, so that she was going out was risky, to say the least.
There was barely any wind. I decided to try to get a couple ones, and I was by myself windsurfing lanes.
I was having a good time until this wave crashed on my sail and pushed my gear toward the shore. The current took me the opposite direction to the outside. So I was swimming in the channel against the current to try to make it back to my gear that was getting closer and closer to the rocks. I kept swimming for, I don't know, like 30 or 40 minutes. And I was looking at the mountains on my side, and I could tell that I was not making any ground. At that time, I didn't know what to do. I just kept swimming, trying to use the waves sometimes to get pushed a little closer.
Sarah's a girl that, since I've known her, doesn't really seem to want to take help from anyone. She's kind of a do-it-by-herself in every element on and off the water.
Luckily, my good friend Bern just was stand-up paddling there, and he held on to my gear, making sure it would not end up on the rocks. That gave me the time to make it to my gear. There was absolutely no wind. I tried a water start, but there was no wind in my sail, and I just kept trying and trying. And somehow, a gust of wind blew in my sail, and I stood up and managed to tack, turn, and sail back in. This is exactly what I trained for. I just spent an hour getting pounded in the waves, swimming in the current. And those days, when the ocean has no mercy, remind me that no matter what I do in life, there's always going to be a force stronger than me trying to put me down. The fact that I was able to get back to the shore with my gear intact and only a couple bruises, this fact empowers me so much. And it also pushes me to go after bigger challenges, like riding big waves. This is Pia He, better known as Jaws. There has to be a huge storm in the North Pacific Ocean for this wave to break. And when it does happen, people come to the cliffs to watch the surfers attempt to catch the biggest waves of their lives. Only a handful of women have attempted to ride these waves. I've always been fascinated by big waves. I know it sounds crazy, but there is something about these waves that makes me feel at peace. But Jaws is known as one of the most dangerous surf spots in the world. All the people that I would see out there have been doing this for so long, like 10, 15 years. They've been surfing since they were little kids. I first rode a wave when I was 15 and only started to commit to being an athlete at 23. So when I see all these very talented people, I have to ask myself, do I have the right to be out there with them?
My name is Robbie Swift. I'm from Maidstone in England, and I live in Maui now, here in Kuau, right near the beach. I am 31 years old, and I've been a professional windsurfer since I was 16. So yeah, I've known Sarah, I guess, for like 4 years now, and when I first met her, she was quite shy. I mean, I speak a little bit of French, and she didn't speak such good English then, so maybe I found her late. And, you know, a little, small, skinny girl. I mean, she's still a very little girl, but she's definitely, I think, you know, she's definitely motivated and driven as an athlete to do all kinds of things, you know, stand up. She does stand-up yoga and things on the South Shore, and then you see her out doing stand-ups in pretty massive waves. It's really cool. But I think also, you know, competing and realizing that she can do well has kind of motivated her as well to train, you know, in the off season and to get better and kind of push her level of doing everything. So Jaws is kind of the premier big wave spot in the world. It's one of the big wave spots that gets the best chance of having the right wind direction and the best wind strength as well. Being a big wave spot, it's quite dangerous, obviously, but it's one of the places where there's the most safety crew around. So there's always jet skis there, you know, to rescue you and stuff. So you can feel a little safer perhaps there than in other places. It's quite scary when you first arrive, always. It doesn't really matter how many times you've been there. You see the huge waves and you see people fall and you're like, oh, I hope that doesn't happen to me. The wave is so perfect. It's such a beautiful wave. It's kind of breaks in the same place every time. The wave is going so fast that it stretches the water out and makes it really smooth. So as you get into it, you start pushing yourself a little bit, and that's what happened. I had 4 or 5 good waves, and I did a really nice turn on the one before, and I was like, right, I can go a little bit deeper and try and go a little more vertical and try and finish the turn a bit better. And as I did that, a gust of wind kind of hit me, and the board kind of spun out, and I lost the traction from the fins, and the board went around to the other side. When that started happening, I decided I wanted to let go, but somehow I got stuck on my equipment, and my feet didn't really come out of the straps properly. The board flipped upside down, and I ended up lying on my back on the board. As I started going over the falls, just a feeling of the free fall, because you hit the equipment and then the wave pulls you over and you hear this huge noise all the time, but at that moment you don't really hear any noise because you're just so scared. You're falling from the top of like a 2 or 3 story building. I landed on my equipment, and luckily the mast foot which holds the board to the sail broke, so they separated, and that was lucky because it meant that I got away from my equipment. And then I got picked up again and went over the fault again myself without the equipment and got pushed down really deep. And then I started thinking, oh no, I wonder if I can hold my breath for this long. Then I pulled my vest and I came shooting up quite quickly. And as I was shooting up, I started thinking, the jet skis are probably all coming to get me. I wonder if one of them is going to crash into me as I come up. You know, you think all this stuff in those couple of seconds that you're underwater. But I came up and the guys were right there. They just grabbed me and they were like, oh, that was the worst wipeout ever. Both of them were just like, I can't believe you just went over the falls like stuck inside your boom. And I was like, I know, I can't believe it either. And they're like, you okay? And I'm like, I think so, you know. I was like, oh man, now I want to get more waves because I feel kind of braver now, you know, because I've gone through all that. I had some of my best waves, I think, ever after that.
When my journey began on Maui, I set goals, and riding Jaws was one of them. I focused on each step I had to do to make it happen. And here I am this morning, getting ready to go windsurf at Jaws. At that very moment, I was so scared. I remember having to mentally control my fear and not let it turn into panic. Because of the El Niño phenomenon, we were going through an unusual winter. The storms were bringing us huge swells. The day before, 2 incredible surfers ended their Jaws sessions at the hospital. Oof.
So, Maxi is a little worried about launching at Maliko. Maxi is our water patrol guy today. He's gonna be the person doing my safety and bringing me to the wave. Because to go to Jaws, you can't go from the shore. You have to launch a jet ski at this gulch called Maliko, and then you can ride the ski all the way to the wave. And just that is gonna be pretty gnarly because the gulch is really narrow and usually it's calm, there are no waves breaking in there. But today, because of the huge swell, the bay is gonna be closing out, and that's why he wanted to make sure that there's gonna be another jet ski launching with us in front of him that's gonna do the same thing. And if something goes wrong, at least there's one ski that can tow the other ski. And yeah, it's crazy that in those conditions we need safety for the safety, but it's good to think about the worst case scenario and to be prepared for it. And after that, once we will be at Jaws, Maxi will stay on the jet ski and he will watch me the whole time. And if I go down, if I fall, he will be picking me up in the impact zone if he has enough time in between the waves. Otherwise, I will have to dive under them. But Maxi is really good at what he does. He's been on the island for a long time and has seen big waves, so I'm not worried about his part. Hope I can do mine, and it's really important. It's a real teamwork out there because I'm gonna be grabbing his hand, he's gonna come at me very fast, and it's gonna be only a couple seconds where he can pick me up and then get out of the impact zone before the next wave comes. And I've been training, doing pickups and being fast, all that stuff. So let's hope for the best and be ready for the worst too.
Now we're playing the waiting game. Everybody's ready to go. We are just waiting for the wind to pick up a little more. So I keep myself occupied by doing a couple stretches and warm up.
I have a mic in my back. Trees are not moving much. Let's see what the sensor says. Says it should pick up. It's the right direction. We just need to be stronger, but the direction is right, so that's a good point, a good news.
This buoy that's northwest of Hawaii is reading right now 21.5 feet.
Yeah, it's looking good. Very big. We're gonna go out there and worst case scenario, we're gonna watch the biggest wave of our lives, and best case scenario, we might ride some of them.
Some of the biggest names in surfing are on the island today out at Jaws. Aloha. It's Rock Mornings here in Maui. Currently 75 degrees. Huge swells today on the North Shore. So everyone out there today, be careful. Big shout out to Sarah Hauser. Be safe. And let's get this hour started with some Fit for Rivals.
Launching out of the Maliko Gulch was tricky. We had to time the waves just right to get out. As I came down that wave, I could hear it breaking right behind me. The sound was deafening and my board was going so fast it was shaking. When I got to the bottom, I looked up and all I could see was water, no horizon. That was the most incredible sensation. I don't even know how to describe it. I rode 6 waves that day. I even got to share one with my teammate Rudy. It sucks that I don't have a big sponsor or that I don't have comfort or stability in my life. But if that's what it takes for me to be out there, then it's worth it. I will never stop chasing my dreams. What are your dreams? What do you aspire to be? My name is Sarah Hauser, and this is my story.
Four years ago, I was just a trainer dreaming of having my own facility. But with just pushing through every day, continuing to build business plans, and just believing in myself, anything is possible. I'm Nikki Metzger. I'm a Nike Master Trainer, Women's Health 2015 Next Fitness Star, and owner of Body in Scottsdale, Arizona. What are your dreams? What do you aspire to be?
My name is Paige Alms, and I am the 2016 Women's Big Wave World Champion. Growing up as a kid on Maui, I always aspired to be a professional surfer. And just a few years ago, it was just a dream of ours to have a women's event. And I had the chance to compete in the first ever WSL women's contest at Jaws, and I won.
10 years ago, I had this dream inside of me that yoga could be more than it was for me, and maybe even more than it would be for someone else. I just want to say you can follow your dreams, you can pursue, you can become anything you want to be. My name is Brooke Boone, and I am the founder and CEO of an international nonprofit called Holy Yoga.
5 years ago, I was selling radio advertising for a rock radio station here in Phoenix, Arizona. If you're watching this film, this is a testimony to you can do what you believe in. You can follow your dreams. You just have to put a foot forward and do it. My name is Steve Esparza, and I'm the director and producer of Girl on Wave. So as Sarah Hauser would say, what are your dreams? What do you aspire to be? Where's Casey? Casey!